We are not going to do it in access only, we are going to do it in base as well as access. So firstly, what is database? Students, when lot of data is collected and kept in a repository, okay, that is, it is collected together on a daily basis, just like your name, class, section, everything, your father's name, mother's name, everything is collected on a daily basis, and it is saved in the attendance register of the teacher, right? Not only that, but if suppose there is a new customer who comes to a showroom, a vehicle or a car showroom, and makes some inquiry, then the person who is at the reception saves all his data in by telling them to fill an inquiry form. Or if you are just registering on a social networking site, like for example Facebook, Instagram and all, you first of all register by providing your details, right? So and in the background of it, at the back end of it, of that application which you are using, that it generates a lot of data, right? Your complete details are saved somewhere on the internet. And whenever you have to use your Facebook account or your Instagram account, what do? You need to sign in using your username and password, and then only you get access to your account. So a lot of data is generated on a daily basis, which is saved somewhere or the other. So the thing is, why use databases? Databases are used by companies to store data of clients, employees, products, suppliers, and numerous other things. Okay, every day a lot of data is collected and it is kept in a repository, in a kind of a warehouse which is known as database. Used by school to store data of students, faculty, employee, students' biodata, academic performance, and so on. So it can be used by an institution, it can be used by a company, it can be used by a hospital. So any place which you can think of where data collection is needed, they use a database to store data. In short, it is a digital record keeping system. So earlier we used to have manual record keeping. Okay, it was very difficult to manage the data manually, had to be written or recorded by some person, and that too a large number of paperwork was created, large number of files were created where data was stored. Management was difficult, data repository was difficult with growth of organization. That is, as data requirements grows, you run out of space to store the large amount of files which are generated every day. So report generation was also very time consuming. If your boss wants to know how many employees are there who are temporary employees right now, so what will you do? You will have to scour through all those files and cabinets, and it will take hours for you to figure out the data, to find out the data, and there is a possibility that you might skip some of the important records. Okay, so data extraction is very difficult and time consuming in manual record keeping, and also it is error prone. There are possibilities of committing errors. So hence need for data collation with centralized control over data was required. So database was created, which was a digital record keeping system, and here it is a collection of information that is organized so that it can be easily accessed, managed, updated, and deleted. Basic operations like inserting data, deleting obsolete data, that is data which is not needed. An employee who has left the company, his data is not required. Okay, so that data can be deleted. Updated data which is already existing, you need to update or modify the data. Some student wants to change his address or get his address changed or phone number changed. So what is needed? Updation of data is needed. Databases can be classified according to the types of content like bibliographic, full text, numeric, and images. So different types of data can be stored. Bibliographic is usually, it means data about, normally it refers to books, okay, books and textbooks from where a particular topic in the book has been referred to. It might have been referred to by a website, that is, that particular topic has been taken from a website or maybe from some other famous writer's book, or from it actually specifies the source of that data. Take a look at this table over here. You can see this is a products query table, and this table stores the data of various products, their price, and the target level. Now, target level could be something related to, like if suppose the amount in the inventory has gone down. Like for example, at your home also, there might be a pantry, that is a place in the kitchen where all the different things are stored. Rice, pulses, flour, everything is stored at different shelves, right? So by once you keep on consuming those, there's a point where the very little amount is left in the container, right? So that is an indication that you need to order more. So that is known as target level, right? So usually in companies or in shops, what they do, they have an inventory where they have a complete record of the various items which are available, their prices and their target level. Then you can see another example over here where you can see an ID, last name, first name, that is people, their birth date, age with months. And another example. There are usually various types of databases like hierarchical, relational, network, and object-oriented, but our main target is relational database. Now, what is DBMS? From this it comes to, it is database management system. And these are some of the database management system software, which you can see: Microsoft SQL Server, MySQL, Oracle, PostgreSQL, SQL, Sybase, IBM DB2. These are some of the examples of various types of software which are available for handling your databases, and that is known as DBMS. And you people are going to learn what? You are going to learn LibreOffice base or OpenOffice base and MS Access, right? Some advantages why we use database systems. So let us check one very simple example over here, okay? Suppose there is a college and there is a hostel associated with that college, and both have their own, they have two separate files or copy of the records of, like we'll just take a condition where right now the college is not, neither the college nor the hostel is using the database. दोनों में से कोई भी database use नहीं कर रहा है, उन्हें पता ही नहीं है कि database क्या होता है. उन्होंने क्या किया हुआ है कि एक फाइल ली हुई है और उस फाइल में, like it could be a text file, okay, it could be a Word document or an Excel spreadsheet, right? And within that Excel spreadsheet, they have stored the records of all the students who study in the college. Now, college contains the records of students as well as those students who live in the hostel, and hostel contains the record of only those students who live in the hostel, right? In a college, student records are maintained, and hostel also maintains records of all those students who live in the hostel. In short, two separate copies of the same table are stored in college as well as. Now, this is a student named Mehboob Kausar, and he is a student of this college, and he hails from Bangladesh, right? And because he is from another country, from another place, so he stays in the college hostel. Now, the problem is Mehboob's family is relocating from Bangladesh to Kolkata city, which is in India, and he seeks a change in his permanent address. He wants to get his permanent address changed because his family is relocating to India, so there would be a complete change in his permanent address. So for this purpose, what he does is, now this is the old address and this is the new address. So in both college and hostel copies, his address is the old address right now. Now the college and hostel both have the same copies but two separate copies of the student records. If the change is made in the college copy, it will not show in the hostel copy. And if the change is made in the hostel copy, it will not show in the college copy. So now he approaches the college hostel reception, and seeks a change in the permanent address. So he just approaches the receptionist and says that, ma'am, I need to get my permanent address changed. So the hostel receptionist does it with, she is under the, she has nothing to do with whether college has, he has approached the college or not, whether college knows about his change of address or not, but she makes the change in the hostel copy. So you can see over here that the hostel copy record is changed, but the college copy there is no change. Okay, hostel copy में change हो गया है, college copy में कुछ भी change नहीं हुआ है. So now Mehboob's data is in a confusing state. So now Miss Mehboob will say, I got my address changed. College will say, we don't have any knowledge about whether his address was changed. But now hostel admin says that no, he got his address changed. So both are claiming that no, this address is the Kolkata address is the correct one. Hostel says this and college says this. No, his Bangladesh address is the correct one. Now which address is the correct one? So here Mehboob's data is in an inconsistent state, is in a confusing state. Now this wouldn't have occurred if they had used, if both the college and college and hostel would have used a centralized database which would have been shared simultaneously by both of them. So both college and hostel would share the same data. Changes made in the hostel copy would be reflected in the college copy. There is no separate copy. Once a change is made in the hostel copy, it is reflected here. The college knows that there is a change which has been. The college also gets notified of that change. Understood? So this is one of the most primary advantages of using database. Data redundancy, that is data repetition. Just take a look at this particular table over here, which shows patient ID, name of the patients, okay, date of birth, gender, phone number, and the doctor who is attending that particular patient, right? Now over here you can see that doctor ID 01, Dr. Hyde is the name of the doctor whose ID is 01. So wherever Dr. Hyde is attending a patient, his record is inserted and his complete data is repeated. Like you can see here 01 Dr. Hyde 03. Then again here 01 Dr. Hyde 03. Then again 01 Dr. Hyde 03. So okay, we can keep Dr. ID here, but why repeat Dr. Hyde and 03? The room number. So what can be done is this duplicate data, it can be removed. Although we cannot remove it completely, but we can minimize that. Like over here, there are two separate tables. One is patient table, one is doctor table. Are you able to hear me, students?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now you can see over here, there are two fields. These fields, you can see patient ID and doctor ID. This is same like your roll number, which cannot be repeated for any two students, right? No two students will have the same roll number. So like that also, no two patients will have the same patient ID and no two doctors will have the same doctor ID. Got it? So using this now over here, this doctor ID has been used, that is 01. So by looking at this and by joining these two tables, it is very clear that patient Jeff is being attended by which doctor? Dr. Hyde. Then patient David is being attended by which doctor? The doctor ID is 02. If you check in the doctor table, it is Dr. Jekyll. So even if you delete the data from here, even if you delete two or three records from this patient table, no change would be there in the doctor table. So this way we can minimize the unnecessary repetition of data. Some repetition will be there, 01, 01, 01, 02, 02, but Along with 01, Dr. Hyde and 03 and Dr. Jekyll and 06 need not be repeated. Okay. So this is what data redundancy, that is unnecessary repetition of data, can be avoided if you are using a proper database. Databases can control inconsistency to a large extent. Now, inconsistency means, just take a look at this table over here. This is a table which stores the data about customers who are in the US, and this table stores data about customers who are in India, right? So in the US, you can see over here date of birth which is given. It is in which format? MMDD YY format, that is first month, then date, and then year. Whereas in India, it is first date, then month, and then year. Now, if you have to combine the data of these two tables, you can see the first three records, they are using the first date format, and the last two records are using the second date format. Which one is the correct one? So databases don't allow you to store data in this way, right? So there is a certain standard which is followed, or one method is followed to store data. Then data sharing is possible in database systems. You can share the data with multiple people. Although that level of a database management is not there in your syllabus, right? You don't have to worry about it, but you should know that what actually happens in the real world. Okay, so you can see the database, this part represents the database, and then this database is shared by multiple users, right, across networks. So that is data sharing. Databases enforce standards. There are multiple things like naming conventions, standard abbreviations, roles and responsibilities, programming guidelines, database guidelines, security features. So various standards are followed by databases. One example I will give you, SQL, structured query language, is one common language which is used by most database applications in the world, right? And data security also. Every year a large amount of money is invested by the banks, okay, for saving the data, because in the banks what type of data is stored? The information or data related to a person's account, that to money account, monetary account, right? That is how much money a person is having. Can you imagine if it would have been very easy for the hackers to hack the information or in the bank server? Your hard earned money which is stored there, which is saved there in the bank, it would have got stolen every now and then. But you will hardly hear any news of bank servers getting cracked or hacked by hackers, right? The reason is banks already, they are investing a lot of money in various types of security features. All these things you can see: redaction, encryption, masking, audit vault. These all are different types of security features which are applied on database. So these all are the you can say advantages of database. Now, what types of objects will you create in a database? Okay, now this is a screenshot of Access 2010. Just like this also, you will be having the LibreOffice base screenshot also. So the left side will show all the different types of things which you can create in a database. Mostly they are what? Tables, queries, forms, and reports. So these four types of things you will be creating in a database, right? Macros and modules are also there, but you don't have that in your syllabus, right? So what, please keep your mics muted. Now what we are going to do is only this much, that is tables, queries, forms, reports, and SQL to some extent we will be seeing in our data, in our course. Some types of data types we are going to study. Okay. Now, what is a data type? It is very important to understand the type of data in your database, right? What type of data can be stored? So now basically, because this is related to MS Access 2010, but you have to study basically what? LibreOffice base, right? Now these data types are more or less the same, but we are going to do it in case of, we are going to study some common data types which are used in both Access as well as in base, right? So one type of data is text, right? One is a short text and one is a long text. Now usually text consists of which type of data? It is a combination of text and numbers, such as addresses, right? And some types of numbers which don't involve any type of calculations, known as phone numbers and postal code, right? So for tell me something, do you need to perform any type of arithmetic operation or calculation on phone numbers or pin codes? I don't think so. You don't perform any type of calculations on phone numbers and postal codes, right? So that is why such type of data is known as what? Alphanumeric data. Like alphanumeric data could be, I'm just going to show it to you. Name, employee name, product name, city, state, department, item description, customer name, course, supplier name, subject, and many more. So all this type of data represents short text or simply text. Okay. So all this type of data which involves your alphabets as well as combined with alphabets combined with digits, okay, and special symbols like @ symbol, hashtag symbol, percentage symbol, comma symbol. So all punctuators which you see, all punctuation marks which you see, or all special characters which you see on your keyboard, they all come under alphanumeric data. Then we have memo or long text. That is text which is a bit longer. Examples: address, description, course details, company details, any data with a large number of characters. Employee profile, okay, student portfolio information or student achievements. So these are fields which contain a lot of data, right? Or lot of text. So that is why they come under long text or memo. Next is numeric data. Marks, fee, serial number, salary, allowances, price, roll number, quantity, deductions. So all this type of data that involves numbers, okay, either whole numbers, that is integers consisting of negative, positive numbers as well as zero, as well as numbers which are real numbers, that is they have any digits after the decimal point. So both integers and real numbers are included in numeric data type, okay, and you can perform arithmetic operations. Certain data types we will be like, I'm only giving you an overview, like today is the first class for this databases. So I'm just giving you an overview, a basic overview of these data types which we will be studying in detail, right? So these are suitable for arithmetic calculations, can be used to specify any numeric value with decimal or without decimal. Then a currency type data is also there, which is basically used to represent monetary amounts, as you can see over here. And this currency is also numeric data. It can be real or integer, but you can perform calculations on it. But it only it has a currency symbol attached to it and can only support up to 2 digits after the decimal point. Whereas numeric data can support up to any number of digits after the decimal point. So this type of a data is suitable for representing what? Monetary values. Then we have date time data. Date of joining, date of birth, order date, purchase date, exam date, course start date, hotel check-in date, check-out date, okay. And along with date time is also saved. So this is known as date time data. Is the basic data types clear to everyone, students? What types of data? Yes or no? Give me a quick feedback, students. Okay, if I ask you one question now, like I have school address. Okay, what type of data will be stored in school address? The data types are in front of you here. You can see it from here. And tell me which data type will fit school address. School address, an example of school address, if I have to give you, normally it is of this type. That is first of all, the school name, St. Montfort School, Bhopal, or St. Montfort School. Then you write post box number, PBNO 16, Raisen Road, Patel Nagar, Bhopal. You also write the pin code 462021, comma MP. So tell me, what type of data do you see in this? Do you see alphabets? Do you see alphabets? Can you see alphabets here?
Yes, ma'am.
Both capital as well as small letters. Both are there. You can see some digits also. Like you can see 16, it is a digit. You can also see this one, 4620221. These are also digits, collection of digits. Then you see some special symbols also. What are those special symbols? You can see a dot after ST, this dot. Then there is a space also. This you can see I have selected this space here, right? So that is usually known as a white space character. White space is also a valid character, right? Then you can see a comma, then again you can see some dots over here, then again a comma, then comma is used multiple times, and you can also see a hyphen is used here, right? So these all are what? Special symbols. So all that kind of a data type, which includes alphabets also, digits also, and special symbols also, normally it is known as alphanumeric data. Alphanumeric data. And alphanumeric data is known by various names: text, short text, long text, memo, text varchar, are various synonyms or various names for the same type of data. Got it? So that is what you are going to use here. And other type of data is, if I just ask you, suppose I have to store student's age, and student age is something like 14, 15, 16, and so on. So what type of data will you refer to this? This is which type of data? Is it alphanumeric data? That is it textual data, or is it numeric data, or date time data? What?
Ma'am, numeric.
Can you tell me the reason why? Your answer is absolutely correct that it is numeric data, but why is it numeric data? Can you give me the reason behind it? Why can't I store it as alphanumeric? Because alphanumeric includes digits also. So I can save it as 1 and 4. The reason I'll tell you, the reason is numeric data is a data where you can perform calculations. Okay, you need to perform calculations on data, and for that you need what? And there are various types here. You have integers, right? You have tiny int, which is kind of integer which can only store up to 3 digits, a number of up to 3 digits. Okay, you can have decimal numbers. Decimal numbers are real numbers, and real numbers are those which contain fractional numbers, numbers with a decimal point. So let me give you an example of each. Integers are like these. You can have positive integers 1, 2, 3, 4, 45, okay, 13, 98, and so on, up to any number. Then you can have negative numbers, -1, -2, -45, -78, up to any number, and you have a 0. That is basically integers are what? Whole numbers. I have studied this in mathematics. What are whole numbers? All those numbers which are what? Which don't have a fractional part, which are complete. Okay, so those are integers and those are whole numbers. So here, age of the student has been stored as which type of data? Integer data. They don't have a decimal point. And usually these numbers, even if they have a decimal point, they have a 0 after that. Got it? Then we come across decimal numbers or real numbers. What are real numbers? The real numbers are those which contain a decimal point, okay, after them. So it could be like 34.45. This is one example. -67.7362. This is a decimal number. Okay, you have to store the temperature of a particular city and write, suppose the temperature of the city is 34.5 degrees. So there you need which type of a data? Real numbers, that is decimal. Okay, some other examples, marks in a certain subject. Suppose you are getting 45.5 in mathematics, okay, out of 50. This 45.5, this 0.5 is very important when it comes to math, okay. So when it comes to marks, so that is why this type of a data is known as what? Real number, or we say decimal. Understood that? On this also you can perform all sorts of numeric calculations, right? And there is one more, that is currency. It is same like decimal only. Only thing, it supports only two digits after decimal point. Right? Whereas decimal can support up to say 8 or 9 digits after the decimal point, depending upon the precision which is allowed. Okay, you don't have to worry about that too much, right? And we have other type of data, and let's check out some examples. If I just say, like for currency, scholarship amount. A student's table is there, and within that table the scholarship amount is maintained, right? And this much amount is given to the student. This is which type of a data? It is currency data, because it's a monetary amount, right? So it is we users who are creating the table, we fix the data type of a particular table. Understood that, everyone? Is this much clear to everyone? Next, let's talk about, suppose I write here admission date. What type of data will this be? Admission date. You can see various data types over here on your screen. Which data type would be most suitable for storing this type of a data? Your thinking caps and tell me. On the screen, you can see the various data types already. Suppose a student is seeking admission in a college, and his date when he is seeking admission, that date is recorded. So which data type would be the most suitable for storing that?
Date and time data.
Date and time. Yes, why? Because date and time data stores data in this format: date, month, year, as well as the time is also stored in hours, minutes, and seconds. Just like in Excel, we had studied all the data types. If you remember, last year we had studied. So the same thing is done here also. Date time data. That is why it is known as what? Date time data. Why? Because date time data stores both the date part as well as the time part. Some more examples we will see. You can see over here short text. supports up to 255 characters. Okay, that is, you cannot have any data in this particular data type more than 255 characters. But long text or memo text supports 65,535 characters. Number, it is used for numeric data that will be used in calculations. Date time stores date and time values. You can display date and time in various formats: long date, short date, medium date. Okay. Currency, you can specify various currencies and display them in different formats. There is a auto number or auto value field also in both access and in base, which is used to insert a field which will automatically generate numbers, and that I will explain tomorrow. Yes, no type of data. Now, yes, no type of data usually consists of two values, true or false, or it is also displayed as yes or no. So there are certain situations where we need to use that kind of a data. So where do we use that kind of a data? Let's see. Just give me 6 more minutes and I will wind up the class. So when I talk about yes, no type data, there is a student table, and in that student table, there is a field named hosteler. That is the student, if does he live in a hostel? So answer, I'm asking a close-ended question here. If you remember, we had studied types of questions last year, which have yes, no as their answer. Okay. So is the student, is he a hosteler? Answer will be either yes or no. Got it? Then let me give you another example. In a hotel database, suppose there is a table of customer. Okay. Or sorry, room. There is a table of room. And suppose there is a certain room number 1020. And within this table, there is a field named occupied. Occupied, answer will be either yes or no. Okay, so this type of a data is what? It is also a yes, no type of data. So wherever you need to store some data which stores yes, no, okay. So there it will be yes, no type or Boolean data. Understood? There is another name for this, that is Boolean data. Got it? So we will be studying databases and data types in detail. And tomorrow, kindly be present in your online class if you are joining from home. And if you are if you are coming to the school, kindly be present, because from 11 to 12, you will be having your extra class in IT, right? So with this, I conclude today's class, students.